टन टन 9 बज चुके हैं। मैं आ गई हूँ आफ्टर अ लॉन्ग गैप। जी हाँ, बताती हूँ कि क्या क्या हैपनिंग चीज़ें हुई हैं इन 2 हफ्तों में। नमस्कार श्रोताओं, मैं आरजे हर्षदा स्वागत करती हूँ आपका रेडियो उड़ान अ फ्लाइट ऑफ लाइफ की ब्रांड न्यू शो में, जिसका नाम है द हैल्सियन शो, जहाँ हम बात करते हैं मेंटल हेल्थ की। तो श्रोताओं, बता देती हूँ मेरे गायब होने की वजह। तो ऐसा है, वैसे तो सारे ही हम आरजेस गायब हो गए थे और हम सब थे सेक्टर 45 गुरुग्राम on 9th and 10th of March for the 10th Radio Udaan convention and Udaan Idol grand finale, organized by Udaan Empowerment Trust and sponsored by Savlon, HDFC, etc. पूरा कन्वेंशन हमने बहुत मज़े किए, बहुत एंजॉय किया। एवरीबडी वॉज इन देयर हैप्पी स्पेस एंड हम सब बहुत ही कोऑर्डिनेशन के साथ बहुत ही हमारा 2 दिन का ये इवेंट था एंड इट इज़ अ हिट। इट वॉज अ वेरी हिट इवेंट। अगर आपको भी इसके अपडेट्स देखने हैं तो रेडियो उड़ान के यूट्यूब चैनल पर जाकर आप ये सारे अपडेट्स और 2 दिन का लाइव सेशन की रिकॉर्डिंग भी आप देख सकते हैं। You can catch it all up over there. उड़ान आइडल के विनर्स को मिले हैं कैश प्राइजेस, गुडीज एंड फर्स्ट प्राइज जिसने जीता है उस कंटेस्टेंट को मिला है यूएस घूमने का मौका। तो हेल्सियन शो खत्म होते ही आप पूरा कन्वेंशन जो है वो जरूर देखें यूट्यूब पर। और आपको मैं एक टास्क दे रही हूँ दैट यू हैव टू स्पॉट मी, यानी आरजे हर्षदा इन द कन्वेंशन। आपको ढूंढ के दिखाना है कि मैं कहाँ हूँ, ओके? और अगर आपने मुझे स्पॉट कर लिया है और आप मुझे बताना चाहते हैं तो आपको क्या करना है? आपको करना है email at radioudan@gmail.com पर या कॉल करें 946-366-8196 पर। आप फेसबुक, ट्विटर, इंस्टाग्राम पर भी रेडियो उड़ान के अपडेट्स देख सकते हैं और द हैल्सियन शो के बारे में बता सकते हैं। चलिए तो शुरू करते हैं हमारा शो के होते हैं 4 सेगमेंट्स। सेगमेंट नंबर 1 एक कहानी, सेगमेंट नंबर 2 मंडे मोटिवेशन, सेगमेंट नंबर 3 बुक रिकमेंडेशंस और आपके रिव्यूज, सेगमेंट नंबर 4 कोट ऑफ द वीक या थॉट ऑफ द वीक। आपने अक्सर ये सुना होगा लोगों से या आसपास आपके पेरेंट्स से या ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स से कहते हुए कि early to bed, early to rise makes one healthy, wealthy and wise. ये हमने बचपन में पढ़ा है, राइट? या prevention is better than cure, या हिंदी भाषा में भी बताया गया है सेहत की दोहावली, जिसमें कि कहा गया है कि भोजन करे धरती पर आलती पालती मार, चबा चबा कर खाइए वैद्य न झांके द्वार, या फिर सुबह खाइए कुंवर सा, दोपहर या था नरेश, भोजन लीजिए रात में जैसे रंग सुरेश। ये सारी जो बातें हैं वो हमें इसी बात की सलाह देती है कि हमें एक स्वस्थ जीवन शैली अपनानी चाहिए, यानी कि one should have a healthy lifestyle. A healthy mind is a wealthy mind. आज का हमारा टॉपिक भी यही है। क्या है? A healthy lifestyle. ढेर सारी बातें होंगी और हमारी स्पेशल गेस्ट के साथ भी बहुत सारे टिप्स, ट्रिक्स और फैक्ट्स एंड फिगर्स शेयर होने वाले हैं। उससे पहले मैं एक लेती हूँ हेल्दी सा ब्रेक, और आप भी लीजिए गुनगुने पानी वाला ब्रेक, और एक छोटा सा वॉक करके आती हूँ। कहीं मत जाइएगा, सुनते रहिए रेडियो उड़ान अ फ्लाइट ऑफ लाइफ पर द हैल्सियन शो।
रेडियो उड़ान के अपडेट्स लेने के लिए इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और इस वीडियो को ज्यादा से ज्यादा लाइक कीजिए और शेयर कीजिए। फॉर मोर इन्फो लॉग ऑन टू www.radioudan.com। रेडियो उड़ान के अपडेट्स लेने के लिए इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और इस वीडियो को ज्यादा से ज्यादा लाइक कीजिए और शेयर कीजिए। फॉर मोर इन्फो लॉग ऑन टू www.radioudan.com।
ब्रेक के बाद आप सभी का स्वागत है आपके पसंदीदा शो द हेल्सियन शो ओनली ऑन रेडियो उड़ान अ फ्लाइट ऑफ लाइफ पर। ब्रेक पर जाने से पहले हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे हमारे आज के टॉपिक यानी हेल्दी लाइफस्टाइल पर या हेल्दी लिविंग पर। अच्छी आदतें बहुत ज़रूरी है। टाइम से खाना लेना, पानी पीते रहना, ये सारी बहुत छोटी छोटी सी हैबिट्स हैं, बट ये बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है। बचपन में तो हमें ये सारी आदतें रहती ही हैं, हम सीखते ही हैं, लेकिन हम जैसे जैसे बड़े होते हैं ये आदतें हमसे छूटती जाती हैं। हमारे काम के वजह से, वर्क स्ट्रेस की वजह से, या एक फिक्स शेड्यूल होने की ना वजह से, और बहुत सारे रीजंस की वजह से। बट हमें इनिशिएटिव लेना ही पड़ेगा। ये सारी चीज़ें हमें फिक्स करनी ही पड़ेगी। अगर हमें हमारी मेंटल हेल्थ स्ट्रॉन्ग रखनी है और फिजिकल फिटनेस बढ़ानी है तो छोटी छोटी हैबिट्स को आज ही आप आपके लाइफस्टाइल में इन्वॉल्व करें। आज की जो हमारी स्पेशल गेस्ट है ना, वो यही सारी टिप्स और कुछ इंटेंस सवाल हम उनसे पूछेंगे और बहुत सारे फैक्ट्स एंड डेटा के साथ और एनालिसिस के साथ वो आई हैं और हमें बहुत सारी चीज़ें वो एक्सप्लेन करने वाली हैं। आज हम सेगमेंट 1 और सेगमेंट नंबर 2 यानी मंडे मोटिवेशन और सेगमेंट नंबर 1 एक कहानी हम एक साथ ही सुनेंगे। चलिए बढ़ते हैं आगे शो में और स्वागत करते हैं हमारी स्पेशल गेस्ट हेल्थ कोच कानन एम का। Kanan M is a NBHWC board certified health coach from Washington DC. She specializes in coaching various population for healthy living and weight loss. Kanan has been a part of various diligent studies, reports, and managing large surveys. Investing nearly a 2 decade of study and work experience, health coach Kanan M joins us straight from Washington DC. Hello Kanan, welcome to the show. So Kanan, my very first question to you is that there's so much rush for medicines, whatever we have, like even we fall sick, like cold, cough, or headache, or stomach ache, we directly rush for the very first thing we do is medicines. So what do you suggest, or what are your opinions on this?
Yeah, that's a great question and a very relevant question in today's world. It is true that people do tend to go for medication pretty quickly at the first sign of anything wrong with them, any bodily discomfort. And one of the reasons that I have seen in my work as a public health consultant and a health coach is that medication do provide immediate relief. So for example, I have worked extensively with people in health coaching space, helping them lose body weight. So they are struggling with overweight and obesity, and for them also there is an attraction to take medication, and there are plenty of new medications available for losing weight, and they do work. They are very effective, and the reason people are drawn to it is because it is an easy way to accomplish your health goal, whatever that goal is, whether to lose weight or to reduce your discomfort or pain or whatever that may be the case. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I cannot speak for the actual medical illness, and of course medications have its own place in medicine, in public health, in general. They are required, they are important, but each individual has to decide for themselves when do they want to start taking medication. Again, going back to obesity and overweight issue, I've worked in places where people were taking medication, they were on weight loss medication, but the idea over there was to give them some temporary they are helpful. So when you are on medication, you will be losing weight. In majority of the cases, they work, they lose weight, and that gives them a level of confidence and motivation. But the overall plan with even obesity, overweight, or any lifestyle illnesses like hypertension, diabetes, or hyperlipidemia, high cholesterol, anything which is of chronic in nature. The idea is while medication medication can be helpful and it's applicable, and a doctor will decide when it is applicable for you. You need to also focus simultaneously on your lifestyle and what food you are eating, how much you're exercising, what are your stress levels, and are you sleeping well. And those are the factors which are also ultimately going to be, much more meaningful and impactful in managing your chronic illness, in managing your weight. Because even with weight loss medication, they cannot be on weight loss medication from what I understand. Again, I'm not a doctor, but as a health coach, what I have observed is that people do develop side effects from these medications, and they cannot be on these medications for a long period of time. So ultimately, the strategy should be to focus on your lifestyle and try to manage, maintain a healthy weight and your health, overall health. Yeah.
So you did mention about food and being into healthy lifestyle. So does healthy lifestyle means only having good food, or what? And I mean, what's the extension of being healthy or following a healthy lifestyle? What are the extensions you see?
Right, yeah. So healthy lifestyle is not just eating healthy food, although that is a very important and integral part of healthy lifestyle. So, the way I would describe it, as in health coaching, I have studied a concept of Wheel of Life, WHEEL, Wheel of Life, which is from Duke University, where I got my certification. And they use the Wheel of Life to explain what are the different elements of healthy lifestyle, the components of your healthy lifestyle. So of course, the first one I would mention is nutrition, your diet. Second would be your mental and emotional well-being. Then there is a physical activity and fitness level. There is sleep and rest, and the physical environment that you are living in. And to that, I would also add another element, which is your social well-being, meaning that how well your social relationships are at work or in your personal life, your family, friends, and they also impact your well-being overall. So when we talk about healthy lifestyle, we are talking about all these various components and not just nutrition or not just activity. Yeah, we are talking about everything.
Everything. Yeah. So you gave us a brief about all the extensions which we wanted to know. Also, for healthy lifestyle, we need to follow a lot of things on a daily basis. There has to be a lot of inputs on daily basis, correct? So, what are the 5 habits which you suggest to keep everyone on track for a healthy lifestyle or for a healthy approach for their overall development? Like, what are the 5 basic habits an individual should have and should follow today? As a health coach, what do you suggest?
So, I would be happy to share those 5 habits. But however, before that, I would like to just briefly talk a little bit more about healthy lifestyle. Why it is important is because, in health coaching or in general, health is a very personalized concept. I mean, yes, we have general recommendations. So when you ask me questions about what are the 5 healthy habits, of course, I will share with you. Those are general recommendations. However, one also has to evaluate those recommendations in each individual's life and life situation, and how applicable and what they can do in terms of these different areas that I mentioned about healthy living. So just give you an example. So, first I'll give you the 5 healthy habits that I would say.
Sure. My listeners are eagerly waiting for it. I hope they get a lot from today. Yeah, your 5 healthy habits.
Absolutely. So eating well is one of the most important one according to me. Eating healthy, staying active. Again, staying active. I will just give you an example of what do you mean by staying active. So exercising regularly, drinking plenty of water. That is another important element of it. Having a good quality sleep, and also practicing regular de-stressing activities such as meditation or going for a walk. Anything that helps you de-stress, because in today's modern life, people are busy and that there is, too much of things which are going on. And so stress is a common element. Now, just to briefly talk about, I've shared these healthy habits. Now, what does it mean at a personal level? What we do in health coaching? So, for example, there is a person who is 60-year-old and they have arthritis. And then there's another person who is only 20-year-old and is healthy, does not have any illnesses. Now, when I talk about healthy habits, and I'm saying you should exercise regularly, that exercise regularly will mean a little bit different for each of these individuals. Person with arthritis and at the age of 60 years will not be able to do certain types of activities that a 20-year-old young and healthy person will be able to do. So their fitness level will change. Similarly, dietary changes also can depend on your age. It can depend on what illnesses you suffer from. Diabetics, people who have diabetes, people who have hypertension, their dietary healthy, recommendations would be impacted, would be different than somebody who does not have hypertension. But in general, yes, we have general recommendations, which is meant for general population. But then you also have to look at each individual, their own lifestyle, their own health status, and then decide what is relevant for them. So make it more personalized.
Correct. So you did tell us about the generalized facts and the healthy habits, the 5 healthy habits also we discussed, and you also mentioned about stress and busy schedules. So even though when we follow or we are not able to follow, what can be the, what is that line, that marker line which will tell us that you are going towards an unhealthy lifestyle? Meaning, how can we check whether we are healthy or not? Are there some parameters or are there some markers or milestones or something like that which timely tell us that this is now unhealthy going, somewhere this is going unhealthy? Because sometimes what happens that we are putting up weight, but we are not able to line up that which is going to the obesity side, or this overweight, we are happy in this overweight. So what are the some kind of check we can keep on ourselves that whether we are healthy or not?
Right, so keeping on top of things, health is an everyday occurrence. It is not occasional. So that is one thing I want to share with your listeners, that don't think of health as something that you only when you have symptoms or if you have fallen sick. I mean, that is generally the tendency that I've seen in India. Maybe it is changing with the younger generation. But at least with older generation, what I have observed is that typically they would only seek medical care, or they will only think about health when something has gone wrong. Whereas in having worked now for close to 20 years in the US, the concept of health is very different, where they are not going to wait until things to go, for things to go wrong. They are more proactive because they try to stay on top of things, and even when it comes to their health. So for example, in the US, and I'm sure even in India, we have recommendations about doing your regular screening tests. We have certain screening tests, like for example, mammography is one example of a screening test, which is applicable after the age of 45 years in women. Again, this is a general recommendation. It could be different if you have a family history of breast cancer. Then it can be, maybe sooner in your case. So you need to be aware of what are the screening tests that you can do at what age and keep up with it. That is one way to make sure that you will catch a disease in its early stage and not wait until for the symptoms to appear and then do something about it. Also knowing your family history, because there are all these chronic illnesses like hypertension, diabetes, even certain types of cancers. They run in families. And so once you know that you have a strong family history of a certain disease or a cancer, then you know that you are vulnerable, for that disease. And then you want to be even more careful about doing screening tests or talking to your primary care provider, your doctor, and just asking them what recommendations they can share share with you if you have a strong family history of certain type of illness. And just paying attention, to your mind and body both, and knowing that, when things are healthy and normal, it's going to be, you feel it, like that you're fine. That internal feeling of wellness, And sometimes something is not feeling well, seek out medical care, you seek out, some type of health care where you can talk to somebody who's an expert in the field, and they can guide you and help you in detecting, any illnesses which might be going on under the surface and you are not aware of it. Physical checkups, what we do in the US every year, we go for physical checkups, depending again of your family and personal history, the doctor will recommend certain type of tests to be done, like lipid profile or your fasting blood sugar or whatever is relevant in your case. So doing those physical checkups every year can also help you in making sure that you are on track. Also with overweight that you mentioned, one of the indicators, although it is not a very high quality indicator, but we use BMI, which is body mass index, to see if somebody is overweight or obese or normal body weight, So there are BMI charts available online. And you can look up for your gender and for your age group, and you can make sure that you are within the normal parameters. So again, like for staying healthy is something that you're going to do on a daily basis, like on a regular basis, and you have to keep up with these type of preventative checks.
Absolutely. So you mentioned about giving, our body gives us signal, correct? So we have to be attentive and alert towards our body signals. Also, you mentioned a lot about the family history. We need to check about the family history. So often in the Indian scenario, I and my listeners, and you also must have listened, that our ancestors, or maybe the grandparents or the grandparents age people, they always refer that you are to our youngsters, that you are putting up the Western habits. This can be a bit controversial, but I want you to address this question, that Indian lifestyle is getting influenced a lot of it's getting influenced by the Western habits. So what talk or what share you have, since you have worked and you have seen both the scenarios, you are aware of both the scenarios, and you have seen that what all the health system is all going on. So do you really think that the Indian lifestyle has an influence because of the Western habit, or what's the scenario right now?
Right, I mean, based on my personal observation, yes, there is definitely an influence of what we call Western lifestyle. Now, again, for the purposes of this discussion, we are going to mainly talk about food. And food as, one of the mainstays of Western lifestyle that we are kind of facing here more, the issue of the dietary changes, the change in the dietary habits of Indians. And yes, I agree with you that for sure in last few years there's been dramatic increase in the type of Western food that we call, like for example burgers or fries or pasta, cakes and pastries and fast food in general, which was not part of our daily routine diet, like say 30-40 years ago in Indian context.
Absolutely.
And this has now increased dramatically in last 20-30 years. And yes, they have definitely had a bad impact on our health. And this is also proven by the way, Western cultures, Western countries are also grappling with the same problem, because they have identified that these fast foods are not healthy sources of food, even in their diet, not just in Indian context, but even in the context of US, they have done research studies and they have identified these type of fast food items to be correlated with increased risk of heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, obesity, overweight, which is a risk factor for all types of chronic illnesses. So again, not just for India, for I would say world all over. There are certain types of food which are unhealthy food, and you want to limit eating those foods. What I'm observing, and I could be wrong, I've not done any research, so I don't have a solid data on it, but based on my observation of visiting India every year, is that the younger generation is eating more of these type of foods. And I think they need to kind of have a little bit more information about what these foods are doing to your own body and whether they're healthy or not, which most of these foods are not healthy. At the same time, there are certain Indian foods that the way Indians prepare their food is also unhealthy. So any food which is deep fried, you know, which is cooked too much, which kind of loses its not a lot of nutrient value because it's overcooked, or it has a lot of oil in it, or any or butter or cheese. So whether it is Indian or it is from outside India, I guess in the end what matters for all of us is that we eat healthy, wholesome food, which is organic, which is sort of devoid of these type of extra added oils and butters, so that reduces the amount of unhealthy fat in our diet, and also avoiding excessive carbohydrates, because if you look at pasta, pizza, burgers, they are also again high in carbohydrates. So that's another issue even with Indian diet. Sometimes we end up eating too much carbohydrate, which is again not that great. So I would say yes, Western lifestyle and having these type of foods in excess amount has definitely had a negative impact. But one has to be in general be more mindful of how much quantity you are eating, what is the frequency of these type of foods. Are you eating on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis? In a less amount, in less frequency, maybe you can surely enjoy some of these foods, but keep it low. Try to focus more on healthy food.
Correct. So what I can extract from your explanation is that food means healthy food, whether it is Western or whether it is Indian or whether it is Japanese, Chinese or whatsoever. Food should be full of nutrients, minerals, vitamins and everything. It has no context with any region or any kind of continent or something. Correct?
Yeah, because ultimately food is chemicals, and if you break it down to the chemical level, then what we, and the nutrients, which is what we care about. Whether that food originated in US versus India versus Australia, that probably is less relevant when it comes to health. So when I think about health, I think more in terms of, when giving advice to somebody, you can tell them that try to reduce your fast food intake, which is, fast food is a category of food which is all over the world is viewed unhealthy.
Correct.
And that includes the food items that I mentioned. But at the same time, it's not that Indian food, all types of Indian food is healthy as well. So you want to limit unhealthy Indian food as well. You don't want to eat,
what to eat and what to
not.
Yes, correct. I do understand that. So also when we were discussing, you also mentioned that you have seen that the youth is rising. There's a sudden rise in the youth, and it's a craze in the youth to eat all these fast food and everything. That's a lot of craze, maybe because of their schedule or whatever things are there. Maybe the craze, or just eating out gives them pleasure. But what a super one thing that you need to tell the youth or encourage them to be focused for fit and healthy. What's the one very strict, or you can say a very disciplined thing that today's youth should do to be fit and healthy?
So if it is just one thing I have to talk about, I would focus on food again and the food and nutrition element of their healthy lifestyle. I would want people to be more aware of what they are eating. So for example, if you're buying something from a store, read the food label. To be honest, I don't know a whole lot about the food labels in India. I know that there are food labels, and I don't know exactly what information is included. I'm more familiar with what we have in the US, but I know that in India also packaged foods, which are again considered less healthy than fresh foods. So packaged foods definitely will carry a food label, and it will give you information about the nutrients and the calories. So I want the youth to be familiar with reading food labels, paying attention to the ingredients, and just do your own Google search. Go on your internet, read about it, and figure out if it is healthy and how much quantity you want to eat this food. And try to eat more healthy, fresh food, which is not packaged food, because fresh food in general will have more nutrient value and less caloric intake. So, that's my recommendation.
Food. So, listeners, if you are attentively listening today, please work on the food. we need to work on food. And like last time I had also mentioned that please just reverse the packet and see what are the food ingredients in it. Are you willing to take those ingredients in your body? Then only consume it. Otherwise, just nicely keep it down and with a smile just move away. Okay. There's also one thing which I have personally observed around my environment. This again can be controversial, but since I am a woman and I care about other women's also, so women health is again a very vast topic, and there's so much to speak about. But I have seen there's a drastic rise in smoking of women. See, smoking is not based on gender, but in some years, in last years, women have also accepted smoking as a pleasurable habit, which was not 10 years earlier. So I really feel very bad for it, because my concern this is with, because women have a gift of bearing a life, and it directly affects smoking directly affects that quality of us. But I've seen a lot of women going towards smoking habit. So what's your take on that, and what's your take on women's health?
Right, yeah. So about the smoking component, let's talk about that first.
Yeah.
Yes, it is true that maybe, again, this is observational data and just purely my observation as well.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you that maybe in larger cities, I may have noticed that there is more sort of rise in, at least out in the open, I've seen more women smoking.
Yes.
But again, this is not a very solid scientific data. However, I did look at some data, the most recent data. This data I have is from 2020, so it's still like a couple of years older, but it's overall in India, the percentage of women smoking is about 13 to 14%, whereas men smoking is about 41 to 42%. So there is still a huge gap in the gender. It is not that women have suddenly overtaken the guys. Like they're still smoking more, which is also true globally. There are more males who smoke versus females are not smoking as much as males. However, what I have also seen and read about is that in Indian context, there is a slight increase in the trend, meaning that while the total percentage of women smoking in India is not as large as men, compared to before, maybe there is a rise in number of women smoking.
Correct.
So we don't exactly fully understand the reasons behind it.
Okay.
It could be, it could be just coolness factor when it comes to metropolitan cities. It could be weight loss. Unfortunately, some people think that that's a strategy for them to lose weight. More acceptance by other people because of the coolness factor. So I don't know personally the reasons behind it, in full understanding, because it's not an area of research. I've read as part of my readings and health readings, but there is a trend, and that you're right. Tobacco in general is a
absolutely. Whoever smokes
chronic illnesses, cancers.
I would like to give a disclaimer. Whoever smokes it, whether it is not based on gender, it will ultimately cause cancer and many other diseases. But my concern is the rise. Okay, and women are directly related to a life bearing quality, so it affects directly on that. It also affects on the men. I'm not telling about that, but the rise we should move our concern towards that. So that's what I wanted to bring.
Absolutely, I am fully behind that. That we should, tobacco should not be used in any form. It's a big risk factor for all kinds of health problems.
And your take on women's health. What should women do to because women are they are the soul of the life. They are soul of the nature. So what should they do precisely for their health to be very fit? One thing which they should do.
My recommendations would be, it would be similar to what I said earlier, because again, maybe a gynecologist, a doctor who specializes in this area of women health can give you a better answer to this question. But I would say men, women, both people in general, if you follow a healthy lifestyle, if you eat healthy, if you're active and you're taking care of your overall, well-being, you're going for your regular screening tests. Like for women, we have different types of screening tests, which are, again, for males and females, there will be some difference. So yeah, go for your regular gynecological exam, checkups. Keep in touch with your doctor, and at the first sign of any type of symptoms or abnormality, seek medical care, seek out medical opinion, and live a healthy life.
Okay, so Kanan, we talked about youth, we talked about women, we talked about the health in general, everything. Also, I was curious about a rise also, which we talked during our last conversation also, that there is rise in the hereditary diseases as well, meaning the generations are getting passed on with the diseases. So you also mentioned that you should check your family history, whether the family had these illnesses or serious things and all. So I have a question, that can these hereditary diseases prevented, or they are born to be there? So what's your call on that?
Right, yeah. So for hereditary diseases, there are, there's one part of hereditary, or one type of hereditary diseases, which is chromosomal abnormalities, which I'm not going to address because those are genetic disorders. So we will not talk about them. However, there's other type of hereditary disease, what in general context, when we, in general public, what we talk about are the chronic illnesses. For example, diabetes and hypertension or cardiovascular illnesses, they tend to run in families. You will find, even for certain cancers, a doctor will ask you, when you see a doctor with a colorectal cancer or breast cancer, they will ask you, is there any other immediate family member who also has been diagnosed? So clearly there is some genetic hereditary component to these type of chronic illnesses. Now about the prevention part. So if you have inherited, if I've inherited something, something is there, like diabetes is there in my family. So the way I would, look at it is, that means that I have some type of vulnerability in that area of my life in general, like of my health. And what I need to be then more aware of is that I, for example, go for my regular checks to make sure that my sugar levels are normal, because I have a strong family history of diabetes. I make sure that I eat foods which are healthy, because for diabetes, they advise certain types of food are not good for your health. So I would try to stay away from those foods, minimize those foods. So following those principles of healthy living, and that, so living healthy, exercising, and all those elements that I mentioned, following that type of lifestyle will surely help us in either delaying the onset of illness, or which we have maybe inherited some genes. So there is some component of family history, or either you may delay the onset, or you may not, you may succeed in actually preventing that illness, because you are living a healthy lifestyle. Now there is no sure answer to this question, because not everybody who will be engaging in healthy living, not 100% of people will be able to be able to prevent the illness. But there is a high likelihood that we will be able to prevent. Even sometimes we may prevent the severity of illness. So you may still end up having high blood sugar, but maybe it is not going to be as bad as it would have been if you had not followed the healthy lifestyle. So the answer when it comes to medicine, it is not a perfect science. It is not like physics or mathematics where 2 plus 2 equals 4 all the time, no matter what. That is not how health works. Health is very individualized, very contextualized in your which environment you're living in. What are your stressors? What is your family history? What is your individual healthy habits? All these factors will affect. your chances of developing an illness. And so what we are doing is we are doing what we can at individual level to minimize the risk of developing a certain disease. And we can do that by living a healthy lifestyle.
Okay. So we covered all the points which I could, and I want you to give our listeners, this might be sounding a little different, but I want you to advise our listeners a very strict and very serious approach towards health, that what should be done to maintain health. A very serious and very strict approach. Being a health coach, what would you like to give, Kanan, to our listeners?
I would tell your listeners that health is a choice, that healthy living is a choice that we all have to make every single day. It is not something that you think about once a year or twice a year or when something is wrong. So healthy living is a conscious choice that each one of us has to make every day, and there is no getting around it. So try to create your own healthy lifestyle, however that looks for you, what you can do. Make your own health plan, and health coaching, that's what we do. We help clients create a very individualized, personalized health plan which they can follow on a regular daily basis. That is an important criteria, that you have to maintain it for the rest of your life. There is no getting around it. It is similar to if you have a car or if you have a vehicle, you have to maintain it on a regular basis. Otherwise, the lifespan of that motor vehicle will be less. Or it will give you problems. So similarly, our body and our it's like a machine, and we have to regularly maintain it.
Absolutely. So on that take, health is a choice and you have to perform it on daily basis. It's not something, a hobby or an art which you take up for a day and then just forget the other day. Thank you so much, Kanan, for giving so much important insight towards our health, how to take health seriously, and I'm sure my listeners would have taken a lot of things to learn today from this interview. Thank you so much giving your time and space for this very nice and very knowledgeful interview on healthy lifestyle.
No, thank you so much to you as well for giving me this platform to reach out to so many people. I hope that they can get something from what I've shared. If they have any questions, they can feel free to reach me. They can email me at healthlearningsolutions@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to give them answers. So thank you for the opportunity. It was really pleasant to talk to you, and wish you good health.
Thank you so much. So Kanan has shared her email ID as well. You can email any sort of question of healthy lifestyle. She specializes in especially treating people with obesity. Am I correct, Kanan? Obesity, and she's a health coach.
I would not use the word treating because I'm not a doctor. I'm a health coach. I help people, plan a healthy lifestyle. So if you have overweight, obesity issues, I'll be happy to, help you, give you answers to your questions or help you create a health plan.
Yes, and I'm sure everybody wants to have such a sweet and very nice health coach around us who will tell us all healthy habits to do and things. Thank you so much, Kanan, for coming on the show.
Right, thank you so much.
ये थी हेल्थ कोच हमारी कानन एम, जिन्होंने बहुत सारी रिकमेंडेशंस, टिप्स एंड फैक्ट्स हमारे साथ शेयर किए. छोटा सा ब्रेक लेती हूँ, कहीं मत जाइएगा, सुनते रहिए रेडियो उड़ान अ फ्लाइट ऑफ लाइफ पर द हाल्सियन शो. लौटूंगी एक छोटे से ब्रेक के बाद.
तकरार.
अब तो कोई ऐसा दिन नहीं जब हमारी लड़ाई ना होती हो.
या ऑफिशियल लाइफ में है तनाव.
हाँ, ऑफिस भी टाइम पर पहुंचता हूँ, सारा काम टाइम पे पूरा करके देता हूँ, फिर भी ये कहा जाता है कि यार तुम्हारी जॉब खतरे में है. एकदम मैं परेशान हो चुका हूँ, बताओ अब मैं क्या करूँ.
आरजे नरेश सुनेंगे, समझेंगे आपकी हर बात, दिल से दिल तक में होगा आपकी हर समस्या का सटीक इलाज और सही समाधान.
अपनी बात को उनके सामने बहुत पोलाइटली तरीके से रखें, ये काम करता है.
तो सुनना ना भूले लाइव शो दिल से दिल तक हर गुरुवार रात 10 बजे से 11 बजे तक और रिपीट हर शुक्रवार शाम 5 बजे से 6 बजे तक। For more info, log on to www.radioudan.com या फिर डाउनलोड करें रेडियो उड़ान ऐप फ्रॉम प्ले स्टोर या ऐप स्टोर से।
Do you feel confused while speaking in English? Enhance your English vocabulary and learn some amazing words every week. Tune into Vocabulary Dose every Thursday 7 to 8 p.m. and repeat broadcast on Friday 2 to 3 p.m. with logo file RJ Divya Sharma. Only on Radio Udaan, a flight of life. Tune in now.
ब्रेक के बाद आप सभी का स्वागत है आपकी मेंटल हेल्थ के शो पर द हाल्सियन शो। मैं आरजे हर्षदा आपको बता रही थी हेल्दी लाइफस्टाइल के बारे में। आई होप आज का जो हमारा इंटरव्यू हुआ है, जो हमारी बातचीत हुई है, उसमें से आपने बहुत कुछ सीखा होगा एंड आई होप आप नोट्स भी बना रहे होंगे साथ ही साथ। और अगर कोई बात छूट गई हो या आपको कोई सवाल है तो आप मुझे ज़रूर बता सकते हैं। कहाँ पे? ईमेल करके radioudan@gmail.com पर या फेसबुक, ट्विटर, इंस्टाग्राम, कहीं पर भी आप रेडियो उड़ान पर, जो रेडियो उड़ान का अकाउंट है, वहाँ पे जाके आप मुझे बता सकते हैं या फिर आप यूट्यूब पर रिपीट सुन सकते हैं ये शो। और अगर आप इसे फिर से रिपीट भी सुन रहे हैं तो मुझे ज़रूर बताइएगा नीचे कमेंट्स में कि आप क्या चाहते हैं। थोड़ी सी मेरी गड़बड़ हो जाती है ये हमेशा बताते हुए एंड आई होप आप इस बात को समझ रहे होंगे। इसी के साथ बढ़ते हैं हमारे सेगमेंट नंबर 3 यानी बुक रिकमेंडेशंस एंड आपके व्यूज़ एंड कमेंट्स पढ़ने की बारी है। आज 2 बहुत ही खास मैंने कमेंट्स और एक लेटर उठाया है आपके फीडबैक से, तो सुनिएगा। सावनी आगरा से लिखती हैं कि डियर आरजे हर्षदा, आपकी आवाज़ बहुत ही लुभावनी है। आप बिल्कुल एक बड़ी दी की तरह समझा कर बताती हैं। मेंटल हेल्थ को नज़रअंदाज नहीं किया जा सकता। हमारा ग्रुप हर बार यही डिस्कस करता है। आगरा जैसे शहर में रहकर भी मेंटली फिट रहना आपसे सीख रही हूँ। थैंक यू कि आप चेंज ला रही हैं। योर्स छोटी बहन सावनी। सो सावनी बहुत ही प्यारा आपने छोटा सा जो मैसेज लिखा है, इट्स वेरी टची एंड आई एम वेरी ग्लैड कि आपका गर्ल गैंग ये बैठ के सुनता है और आप फ्रेंड्स सब डिस्कस कर रहे हैं and you are learning from it, and thank you so much for your compliments. It really means a lot if we can change. एक छोटा सा चेंज भी अगर इस मेंटल हेल्थ के शो के थ्रू अगर किसी के लाइफ में आ सकता है तो ये मेरे लिए बहुत 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 बड़ी बात होगी। दूसरा एक और कमेंट आया है TN सुरेश से, जो कहते हैं कि साइकोलॉजिस्ट के पास जाने से अच्छा है मैं खुद ही अपने आप को सुधार दूँ। क्या ट्रेन करेगा साइकोलॉजिस्ट मुझे? तो TN सुरेश जी, मैं आपको बता दूं कि सबसे पहले तो बहुत बहुत थैंक यू कि आपने एक बहुत बड़े मिथ को यहाँ पे छेड़ा है। तो मैं आपको बता दूं कि इफ एंड ऑल यू कैन ट्रीट योर सेल्फ वेल, इट्स वेरी गुड। आप बहुत ही हिम्मत वाले हैं। मैं कहूँगी कि आपने खुद ही ये चैलेंज लिया है कि मैं अपने आप को बदलूँगा। बट अगर आपका जो भी मेंटल हेल्थ है या जो भी आपको स्ट्रेस है, जो भी आपका मेंटल इलनेस है, अगर वो आपके रोज़मर्रा की ज़िंदगी में आपको परेशान कर रहा है, इफ़ इट इज़ टेकिंग out, it is affecting your daily routine, please do visit a psychologist, not for therapy but just to give it a fix। जहाँ कुछ wrong है, देखिए कुछ इसमें बुरा नहीं है साइकोलॉजिस्ट के पास जाके या साइकेट्रिस्ट के पास जाके अपनी चीज़ों को ठीक करना। इट्स अ मिथ। तो ये आप अपने मन से, और मेरे सारे लिसनर्स जितने भी श्रोताओं हैं, मैं उनको बताना चाहती हूँ कि इट्स अ मिथ। अगर आपको किसी चीज़ की हेल्प है तो यू शुड कम फॉरवर्ड फॉर इट। इट्स जस्ट सिमिलर लाइक डॉक्टर। अगर आपको बीमारी है, आपने एक बार उसको चेक कर लिया है, आप खुद से उसको एक बार उसको सहन कर चुके हैं, उसको दवाई उसको अपने खाने पीने से या रेस्ट से उसको ठीक कर लिया है, लेकिन अब वो ठीक नहीं हो रही है तो आपको डॉक्टर के पास जाना ही है। उसी तरह मेंटल हेल्थ का भी है, अगर आप उसको खुद से ठीक नहीं कर पा रहे हैं देन यू हैव टू गो टू अ साइकोलॉजिस्ट, आई मस्ट से दैट। चलिए, थैंक यू सावनी, आंटी एंड सुरेश वंस अगेन फॉर योर व्यूज एंड कमेंट। दोस्तों, मेरी हमेशा ख्वाहिश यही है आपसे, और यही मैं हमेशा ख्वाहिश करती हूँ कि आप मेंटली स्ट्रांग रहिए, मेंटली स्ट्रांग बने और आपकी लाइफ की गोल्स सेट करें। जैसे हेल्दी स्नैक्स खाएं, या फिर हेल्दी स्नैक्स में आप ड्राई फ्रूट्स एंड चूज़ कर सकते हैं। ये छोटी छोटी जो बातें हैं वो आप शुरू कर सकते हैं, जैसे कि यू कैन स्टार्ट लिसनिंग टू गुड पॉडकास्ट, रीड गुड बुक्स, है ना। तो ये छोटी छोटी चीज़ें आप श्योरली। और गुड बुक्स में आज मैं रिकमेंड करूँगी डॉक्टर शिव सरीन की ओन योर बॉडी ये बुक। दिस इज़ एब्सोल्युटली नेसेसरी कि आप ये श्योरली ये बुक लें, because it's number 1 selling book, and secondly it has all the tips and tricks directly from Dr. Shiv Sareen, who is an outstanding Indian physician. Please do read it once. It's a life saving book. इसे जरूर खरीदें and it is available e-platforms. तो शो का सेगमेंट 4 आ चुका है and वीक कहता है कि whose faith is deep and who have practiced controlling their mind and senses attain divine knowledge. Through such transcendental knowledge, they quickly attain everlasting supreme peace. जरूर सोचिएगा इस पर और पूरे हफ्ते इस पर आप अमल भी कीजिएगा एंड ज़रूर बताइएगा कि आपका एक्सपीरियंस क्या रहा। आई विल बी वेटिंग फॉर ऑल योर आंसर्स एंड ऑल योर रिकमेंडेशंस। वक्त हो चला है अलविदा कहने का, लेकिन इस वादे के साथ कि अगले मंडे यानी होली पर से मिलूंगी ढेर सारे खुशियों के रंग लेकर। Till then, keep enjoying, waving you with warmth and love from your happy, the Halcyon Show, only on Radio Udaan, a flight of